For anyone that has had to touch brand new code and has the experience of having to decipher what in the world somebody is trying to do, this is the video for you. This will kind of help you out and help you not be one of those people that makes code that is made of like hieroglyphs and absolute nonsense. So this is something pretty standard when it comes to Python is docstrings. For those that don't understand what docstrings are, all they are very detailed comments. So for those that are not familiar, Python has docstrings and also has type hints. This is kind of a video just going over docstrings, but we're going to be mentioning type hints as well because there's a really good extension that I'm going to recommend that everybody use if you're doing Python development. So first off, the extension is over here actually, once it loads up, but it is a really nice extension. It's called Auto Docstring, Python Docstring Generator, and you can have this on VS Code. It's super nice. It makes life so much easier, and you'll understand why in a moment. But first, let's go ahead and take a look at this. So you're noticing there's a lot of blue squiggles everywhere. And I've created a class called Gamer. It's its own object. It's got an init, and it takes in a name, an age, and a favorite game. And then it sets all those things to the class. And if you're not familiar with objects, it doesn't really matter in this case, or even functions, because all you have to know is that this code is missing something. I'm using something called a linter, which a linter is something that I'm hoping to go over in my video on best practices. If I haven't posted that already, I will be doing that very soon. But a linter is a way to find ways to stay to standards when it comes to code, writing code. So every language has its own standards, and it's up to you to follow those standards to maximize functionality and readability of a language. So in this case, we have a PyLinter. So this is our linter to show us what is wrong with this code. So first things first, we have a missing class docstring. So there is not a class docstring. If I hover over here, it says missing module docstring. So we have a module docstring that's missing, and a function docstring. So that is also missing. And you may be asking, like, okay, well, what does that do? I know what a get function does. I know it's going to get the name or the age or the favorite game. But what you don't know is this mystery function here. Why is it writing, or it's opening a file of some kind, and then it's just printing a line? So the question is, what is the mystery function doing? But we'll get to that soon. So first things first, for anybody that is not familiar with certain types of work, if somebody is just in a terminal setting, as in they only are writing code from a terminal, which is, it actually happens, and there are cases when it happens, you only have access to a documentation that is in code. So one of the most important things for you to do is to make sure that your code is properly documented. So if somebody does need to take a look at it or figure something out, they can have access to it from a terminal or whatnot. So first things first, let's go ahead and write something about this module. These are one of these things that you don't necessarily have to agree with the linter. I'm not a big fan of putting a docstring at the top of my module. However, I do recognize the importance of it, especially since this is just a main.py. What we can easily do is generate our docstring by doing 3 quotes and then ending it, and then it's going to have a returns, but we don't really want that. This is me using the auto generation, of course, and then let's go ahead and get rid of that space, and then this is the entry to our program. Okay, cool. So now we have a docstring, and that's the module docstring. You can customize it however you want. And now we have a class. So now we're going to need to make a docstring for our class. And all you do is you do double quotes, 3 double quotes, 1, 2, 3. And then it will actually generate, it will give you this prompt in VS Code if you have the extension installed, and it generates it for you. This is an object representing a gamer. There we go. All right, so now we have our class object with a docstring. So that's pretty cool. And of course, we may need a docstring for these. And what you might be noticing is that there is a, you have your get name and whatnot here. And then you have like a return type. And we'll get to that as well whenever this generates. One of the things that comes along with Python is type hints. Let's kind of take a step back to the init really quick and realize that we have a name, an age, and a favorite game. Now we know that the age is going to be a number, and it says right here it's going to be an int. And then if you do the favorite game, it's going to be a string. And if you do a name, it just says any. Well, for a name, we just want it to be a string. So in this case, we're going to just let the user know by using colon after the parameter and then str for string. So we're going to indicate to the user that we're doing a string. Same thing for the age. We're going to do age int equals 20. And I think you can do it just like that. And then in the same way, we want this to be string. So now if I hover over name, it shows that it's going to be a string, the age is an int, and the favorite game is a string. I'm going to go ahead and space that as well. All right, cool. So now we know what these are going to be. This is going to be a string, this is going to be an int, and this is going to be a string. So now if I go ahead and I do the generate docstrings, you'll notice that the summary and the type and the description are still generate. However, there's a way to get this to automatically show. So a way that you can show the output of a function is to make an arrow here. So you do a dash, and then you do a symbol here to make an arrow, or a greater than, and then you do the type of whatever it is. So in this case, it's a string, right? And then in the same way, we want to do this for the others. And then we have string. All right, and now if I try to generate it again, you'll notice that it now appears as string. So one of the cool things we'll just do gets the name of the gamer. All right, so now as we're saving and adding docstrings, you'll notice that the linter is not screaming at us anymore. So it's the age of the gamer. All right. Age. All right, and then we get our last one here. This is our last get, and we can do it's the favorite game of the gamer. We'll do capital G to be consistent. Okay, I didn't do any punctuation there, but that's okay. And then here, we're going to put favorite game. Cool. So now if somebody were to read this and they were trying to figure out what this is, they know that this is the entry point to the program, which is our main.py. And this is our class. This is an object representing a gamer. So they know what it is. They know the types So they know it's going to be a string, an int, and a string for the input. And then we also know what these are going to be just because of that. And then we also know the get is going to be a string here. And we know what the return type is. We have the string itself. And then also now if you hover over the names, like if I hover over gamer, it says this is an object representing a gamer. That's what we wrote in the docstring. So now all of our code will actually print out the docstring information. So it returns a string and it's a name, and it shows you what the inputs are. So it's pretty cool. All right, now that we have that, if we go ahead and we go down here to our mystery function, you'll notice that we have a file and it is opening, and then it prints down here. It just prints a line. So something is going on here. Now I could run the code and spoil it for us, but what we'll do is go ahead and dissect it, and then we're going to give it a proper name, and then we're going to give it a proper docstring. So if I go into my file explorer and I check over here, I'm going to kind of shrink it, and we look at the note.txt, you'll see that it has "this is a gamer moment" as the name of the line. So assuming that this is working properly, we have a file that is opening a note.txt, and it's showing the encoding of the file, and then it prints the line, the first line on the note.txt. And I think if we do this properly, we should probably do this as like a shout. So this will be like a shout function. So let me go ahead and close the Explorer. And what we'll do is just write a docstring that says what this function does. A function that simulates the gamer shouting. This will print "this is a gamer moment" in the console. Cool. So now we have a docstring that we can use. You'll also notice that my linter is yelling at me because of white space. It says this line is too long. We don't actually have to worry too much about that. That's not something we have to worry about. Whoa, let's exit that. Didn't mean to do that. All right, so if I put this on a second line, that should be fine. Now, if we hover over this, you'll notice that it says a function that simulates the gamer shouting. This should probably be a period. This will print "this is a gamer moment" in the console. So now, if we go ahead and we run our main, and we have the gamer and the object gamer, and his name is Chad, and then the defaults, his age is 20, and his favorite game is Stardew, which is Stardew Valley, for anyone that's not familiar with that. And now we actually need to change this function name, because we've changed the name to be shout. So now we have shout, which will do something for us. And this is what happens when we run it. Well, there we go. So I think that's all for this time, and thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I hope that you guys utilize docstrings as much as you can in your own code, and that it helps you to make cleaner code. This will definitely help you make cleaner code. I highly recommend using a linter of some sort for Python and writing docstrings in your programs. Thank you again for watching. Ask any questions you need in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.